Okay, Clark, we should get started with the video. This is the CGP 816. We'll start off first by powering up the machine. In the first menu, we have our grinding wheel start, hydraulic on, and rapid wheel on. First thing is to turn on their hydraulics. You can get your grinding wheel started. And we can go into, we could start off with traverse. And first thing is, these LED lights here tell us that the wheel is on and that the hydraulic is on. Once you press cycle start in manual mode, it will jog the head forward. So you want to jog the head forward first to do a touch off. And this light, this indicator light, will tell you that the head is forward. Okay, so now we'll just pretend to use the hand wheel in manual mode to first touch off on our part. So I will move this in, and let's say theoretically I touched my part here. Okay, and then you have two options here. Next thing is you could put it into auto mode. This way it locks your wheel from moving, so I cannot move the wheel. Now I can either move the whole wheel if I loosen this, or I could move just the ring if I loosen this. So the first thing is I'll just loosen the ring. And I'm going to bring my ring to 0. This is going to be my 0 position. Okay, I'm going to tighten this back up. As you can see, it's not moving. Now I can retract the wheel back. So I'll just press here to move the wheel back. And you can see the indicator light is off. Then we can go into our total amount feeding. This number here, we put this number here is 0.07880. This is one total revolution on this wheel, equals 0.7880. 75. So that's one time around. So this is why I'm doing this example. Then whatever your total amount is, you can set your total amount for fine. Then I put 3 thou, and then it'll deduct the 3 thou from the total rough. And then you could put here how much rough in on each pass. Here I put it pretty big so that we can watch the wheel move faster. But this is the total amount on each pass, how much you want to rough in. This is the total amount fine you want to move in on each pass. This is your spark out amount. This is your parts count. Okay, so now we can get started. I'm going to keep these settings here that I have. And again, this is the total amount grinding, and you'll punch this in first. Then you'll put in your total amount you want to use to fine grind, and I use 3 thou. We'll keep it 3 thou. It'll deduct 3 thou from the total roughing amount. Then the rough in here is the amount you want to rough in on every pass. Then the fine in is how much you want to fine feed in on every pass. And then you have your spark out. Okay, and this is our total grinding amount. So we'll get started. Right now I have the wheel going, and the wheel head is retracted back. My wheel is set to 0. After you have it set to 0, we can go into, keep it into auto mode. We can cycle start and make sure our handle is at close. Then we can cycle start. The wheel will feed in. Then I can set my distance here. Then I can turn on my hydraulic. then you'll see here on each pass it's still in rough mode now. Soon it will go into fine mode. It is now in fine mode. Now it's sparking out. And the table is retract, and it should go back to 0. And it's finished. Okay, so next thing is we have what they call a manual mode here. Now, to use this, you'd have to bring the wheel head forward first. So what I'll do is I'm going to go into manual mode like that, and then I'm going to bring the head forward. So the head's forward. See? Now I can go into the manual menu, and right now you can see my wheel is still at 0. My table is traversing. You could set the amount you want to manually jog in here, either times 1, times 10, or times 100. As you can see, my preset position is 0 right now. You can also stop and start the table with this button. So you can see I push it, the table stops. Push it again, the table starts. Okay, so I got my table going. Stop, start. Okay, now I want to manually feed in, and I can push the manual buttons to feed in, and each time is going to be times 10. So you'll see here, push it a few times. So we're at 3 thou in. You can see that it's moved on my dial, 3 thou. And then if you want to go back to 0, just press home, and it goes back to 0. You can see here on my dial, it's back to 0. And then the jog here is just to jog the head in. There's no speed set on these two. You could either jog forward or jog backwards, but then you'd have to reset your ring. Okay, so this page you can only use in manual mode. This is semi-auto mode. You cannot use that function in there. Okay, this is our spindle speed potentiometer. And on our machine, it has a indicator that tells us the spindle speed, but I don't think the customer has it. They might have the unit up here with the numbers on it. This is to start the main spindle. Okay, now we can retract. Plunge works the same way. It's actually easier. You set your total in feed here. Again, it's your total rough amount. You add your fine amount. Whatever you put here, it will deduct from your total. And then you have your rough in, your fine in, and then your spark out.